Good morning, everybody. We have a short day today. As you recall, we are going to do just 1 hour classes, and we've got kind of a bunch of different things that we've been working on this week in preparation for ACT Aspire testing next week. So this is one of them. We are not going to do a normal reading class today. Instead, we are going to do a practice of the ACT Aspire writing test. So I want you to get into the practice of writing out a story, and we're going to go through the sample prompt that you saw yesterday. We went through 5 different examples of a bad to a good writing sample, talking about when you try to help out somebody or the time that you've helped out a person or animal before. So let's present over to some of those just to remind you, and then we'll walk through what you're going to do on your own. Okay, so we went through sample essay number 1, which was the one that got the lowest score according to this one, answering that question about when you've helped a person or animal. It says, one time my family and I fostered a dog that was going to die. We took him and saved his life. Now our grandma has the dog, and the dog is wide, which I think means it's like fat and healthy. But it does not answer the questions very well about, let's see, here we go. It's not really a story. It's kind of stating some facts. It's not describing things. You should be describing a time that you helped a person or animal in need. And your story should tell your reader what you learned about helping others. So make sure that you have that. Here are some questions to help you. Whom did you help, and why did they need your help? How did you feel when you helped this person or animal? Did you ever think you might not be able to help them? Why or why not? The next time you're faced with helping someone in need, how will you respond? And how did this experience affect the way you feel about helping others? Now, you don't have to answer every one of these questions, but that is going to help you to provide lots of detail. Those questions should help you to think through more detail in your story. Make sure you do have what you learned. So you need to have that part about what you learned. Now, something that we talked about, especially with my 11:30 group yesterday, was that there's a lot of good figurative language in this one, which is sample essay 5. This is the one that got the highest score. Now, there is some onomatopoeia. We've talked about onomatopoeia recently. Those are words that basically are like sound effects. They're spelled the way they really sound. Bang, crack. We also had a simile that I think it was Nethra saw. Her teammates came charging at me like bulls. That's a simile because it's comparing the basketball team to bulls. It sort of looked like that. We talked about, metaphor with the hayloft recently, that hay is like mountains. And this is a simile because it has that word like. We had some notes about this recently. You wrote these notes in your binder recently, right before spring break. We did this. It would be really good for you to include some of this in your own writing, like some alliteration, which is repeated consonant sounds, initial consonant sounds. Isabel didn't scream or scurry. Cruel and cavernous is another example of that. So try to include some things like that. Here's some metaphor, like Jimmy Jet's ears are compared to knobs, or in the hayloft, it's compared to a mountain. Simile, like comparing the teammates to bulls, or for Jimmy Jet, he grew a plug that looked like a tail. Here's onomatopoeia again, just like bang and crack. Buzzed the telefeet is an onomatopoeia. Personification. It's probably not going to be something you'll be able to do, but lifting her leafy arms to pray in the poem Trees is that example of personification. Repetition is good in, I think, one of these. It wasn't sample essay 5. I think it was the number 4. Yeah, there was some repetition. It showed when you went back to get the puppy, I pulled and pulled and pulled. That repetition makes it especially strong. What you want to emphasize, to have some repetition. Pulled and pulled and pulled. Or the fence was really, really stuck. That can make your writing stronger, to have some repetition. Going over to sample 5, this also had good use of punctuation, which we've talked about. We've written quite a bit about this in our orthography notebook, and we've done some work with Farmer Boy in writing quotation marks correctly and using commas correctly. So notice for this, they include actually dialogue of what somebody's saying. There's a comma before it and then quotation marks around the part that's being talked about. So very good if you can have a quote in there. Maybe you don't remember the exact words of the person you helped out in your story, but maybe you can make up some words that are kind of similar to it. Okay, so I want you to write your own story about how you helped someone in need, a person or an animal. Okay, here is the writing prompt. I don't know if I'll be able to put this in Bright Thinker as it is. So you can pause right here. You need to use these instructions to help you in writing your story. It would be great if you could do kind of an introduction sort of sentence or short paragraph like they did for sample 5. I've helped lots of people, or many people, but one of my favorite times was when I was playing basketball. That's a good introductory sentence. So you might say something similar. If you're going to write about helping out your mom at the airport, Krish was saying that one, you could say, well, I try to help a lot of different people, but one of the times that comes to mind is when I helped my mom in the airport. And say, you know, I was flying to so-and-so, Chicago, and we were so exhausted. You're saying that your little, I forget if it's a little sister or brother that you have, but your mom was busy with your baby sibling. And maybe your baby sibling was crying. You can give that detail of your mom really needs the help, and you saw that. And then you ran over to get some luggage. You said, Mom, what can I do to help you? Run over and help her out. And you can talk about how that makes you feel with a good maybe conclusion sentence, something like, well, that made it feel like I was looking out for someone other than myself. It's such a great feeling to put other people's needs on. That would be a good way to kind of wrap it up. Okay, that is what you're going to be doing for today. Back up to the reflective narrative writing. You're going to write a story about when you helped a person or animal in need. Hopefully this is true, but if you can't think of anything, just make up a story about if you helped a person or animal in need. Make sure you include what you learned as well. Okay, that's your literature assignment for today, writing a little paragraph that's going to help you hopefully for the ACT Aspire test next week. Have a wonderful rest of your day and weekend. I will see you on Monday in person. So excited to see you all. Bye.